Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Darkstone Dossiers with your host, Anthony Darkstone.
Greetings. Buonasera tutti. Buonasera habaka. Bonsoir, buenas noches, and boa noite, and good evening, and a very good afternoon and good morning to you, wherever you may be watching this at different locations on the planet. I first met Jeff back in the day, and very, very quickly, it was Amazing Jonathan's Halloween party, and I was there with Jason Andrews and Christian Diamond, and Joni Spooner, blessings to her memory, introduced me to Jeff. There's a very fun story after that, if we have time, involving a deck of cards out of his pouch in a flatbed truck. We have many, many more stories. He then, we hooked up again later at the Chateau La Magique, where I was giving a talk on a totally unrelated subject to magic. And dear Jeff came up, gave me a hug, and said, Abby couldn't be here, and gave me one of her CDs, and then sat in the front and proceeded to take 43 pages of notes. Abigail, I met later, and I was honored and delighted when they both invited me a couple of years ago to be one of the cast on the Wonderground, but more of that later. Let me now begin by giving you a very brief, extremely brief idea of some of the work of Abigail Spinner McBride and Jeff McBride. If you are not going wow in your head, you're not really paying attention. We have another little delight for you that Jeff surprised me with and said, I'd like to do a little magic. If that be okay to open the show. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Who do we have to kill? Absolutely, ladies and gentlemen. Without any further ado, Mr. Jeff McBride.
Very good. You unmuted me, and welcome to the House of Mystery here in Las Vegas. This is the home of the Magic and Mystery School, and my name is Jeff McBride. And at this time, it is my great pleasure to introduce the flame in my life, ladies and gentlemen, Abigail. Abigail?
Oh, thank you, honey. Hi, everybody. Oh, this is
Yes. Hello, Abigail. Welcome.
Hello.
Lovely to see you again. It was great. I was just telling folks that we kind of kept missing each other, and then just before you guys were kind enough to put me on the cast of Wonderground, I got back from Arizona, and we managed to sit down and spend some lovely time together. And the reason I bring that up is because, and it's kind of important to tell you all, I had written 3 articles for Jeff's Secret Art Journal. And I can assure you it is well worth reading. Not just my articles, there's a lot of excellent stuff in there.
Well, you're a wonderful writer. And yes, it is a free magazine. It's been out for 15 years on the internet, and it's a way of giving back to the magic community.
Jeff, be kind enough to give us the web link so our editor later can put it up on the screen.
Yes, the web link, the simplest web link you can go to is McBrideMagic.tv, McBrideMagic.tv. And there is a link there for also Mystery School Monday, which we've been doing for nearly 10 years. There's over 500 hours of original programming there. And many of the episodes are free, and they feature our teachers, Eugene Berger, Johnny Thompson, Max Maven, and many, many others, including the faculty of the Magic and Mystery School. And that is free. And it's every Monday night at 7 o'clock Pacific time. However, you can watch anytime you want on demand.
Wow, how's that for a great Christmas gift for everybody?
Well, we
Jeff,
decided that we'd open it up in March to the world because a lot of people were having challenges navigating this landscape that we're in right now. So we have very wise counsel from the dean of the Magic Mystery School every week, Dr. Laura Tass, as well as Dr. Ricardo Rosenkrantz, kind of gives a medical update that's very useful for magicians that are dealing with COVID compliant performances. And also we help a lot of magicians adapt to the new Zoom platform, which will be here for a very long time, if not forever.
well, speaking of Zoom, you're not exactly a stranger to this because you and dear Eugene, blessings to his memory, did something about virtual things way back in the day. I think we may even have a still somewhere that we could pull up to show that. Um, there you are. What are you doing there exactly? You were doing a
Well,
live a show over the internet, right?
for 10 years ago, it'll be our 10-year anniversary on January 17th. We started a 1-hour broadcast, and it moved up to a 2-hour long broadcast. And now we have 3 broadcasts a week. Some are open to the public on Monday. Some are for members only. Some are our private classes on storytelling and theatrical magic. However, Eugene was our guest every week. So there's many, many hours of recordings of Eugene's philosophy, wisdom, and performance, and his incredible good nature and his ability to convey his message to magicians. And those are waiting for you there.
And it's just open to any magician anywhere in the world. Is that right?
Yes, there's no exposure on the show. Wednesday night is members only, and we have some tutorials and training, live training on those nights, and of course our classes. But we're very serious here at the Mystery School to protect the secrets of magic and to keep them off of YouTube and to off of TikTok and off of social media. So the students that come to our school, they sign a secrecy agreement that says they won't publish this stuff. So we have material that doesn't exist anywhere else in the world, and the trust of the community to keep it in the community instead of just putting it out there for clicks and hits. We think that we're a kind of an island of sanity in a sea of chaos media, right?
That's really true. And you know, Jeff, one of my favorite things about the Mystery School Monday show is the community that's grown up around it. We get about 100 people every week tuning in for the live broadcast at 7 p.m. Pacific time. And we have an online chat that's going on during the classroom. And there are very real friendships and very real fellowship that has grown over the many years we've been doing the show. And then throughout the week, there will be thousands more people who will watch the show on demand. So it's really grown into something very special over the years.
And your own very Tim Wise, who's here.
Oh,
from
absolutely.
TV.
Yeah.
He was with us from the very beginning, and tuning in to our broadcasts nearly every week is your president, Joel Batman Zaritsky. And we have many, many members from the Society of American Magicians. I just want to
Well, absolutely. And I'll very, very quickly add for all of our friends watching in different countries, you can join the Society of American Magicians. And no, you do not have to be an American. And Jeff is in the Hall of Fame of the SAM. And I think we have a still somewhere about a month ago. He was on the cover yet again of MUM. If we have that still, we can pull up. Yeah, just so everybody can see it. What is MUM? That is the monthly publication of the Society of American Magicians. If you remember, you can access it online or you get your hard copy. If not, go talk to Jeff and Abigail about the Mystery School, which we will be talking about a little bit more because I have many questions on it on behalf of everybody. Jeff, you were kind enough to always say nice words about me, like you did just now about the wonderful writer. Thank you. It's very gracious. And those three articles, I'm referring to them because there's one on you, one on Dear Eugene, and one on Dear Abigail. And the reason I'm referring to that is because I've done a show with Abigail before, and I did non-magic one, as you know, Abigail, if you recall. But I described you as a Renaissance lady. But since then, we've talked more and more and more, and the three of us and have more an inkling towards esoteric things as well, shall we say. And you're also a polymath. It's just incredible. And in that keeping, I just wanted to, it'd be very remiss if I didn't, to pull up a picture of a lady called Martha, which they're going to do in a second or two. That lady is your mom.
Yes, that's
And
Martha Joy Aft, my dear mother.
I'm going to read, which I think is kind of important for everybody to know, a place where Abigail is coming from. I quote, "The first sound I ever heard was your heart beating, and I knew, even before I was born, that I was loved, that I was safe, that I was wanted, and that I belonged. And for this, I am saying thank you. You showed me how to quiet my mind, how to sing free from inhibition, how music keeps memory alive. And for all of this, I am saying thank you. There is much, much more about Kabbalah and mysticism of healing, angels, and light, but these mysteries stay unspoken for now. But no, I am saying thank you. I resonate greatly with that third paragraph, as you both know. I just want to pull up another picture of another couple. There they are. This gentleman on the right of your picture, for some strange reason, bears an uncanny resemblance to Mr. Jeff McBride. Ha ha ha, little wonder. That's his dad, and that's his mom. So tell us just a few words about your mom and dad, Jeff.
Well, they were very supportive. That's Jack McBride and Judy McBride. And my dad raised horses and was a horseman and worked for the railroad and then put himself through law school. And my mother grew up in a haberdashery shop, being kind of a fashion consultant and a buyer for a little family haberdashery in upstate New York. So through those talents and their disciplines, they helped me find my eye for aesthetics and also discipline. My dad was a Marine drill sergeant.
Yes,
So that
sir.
will give you some of the idea of that. If I didn't practice, he would let me know to practice more in a kind but firm way. So I owe a lot to my parents supporting my early magic efforts. They were very, very supportive, and I think that made all the difference. And when young people come to our magic school, I talk to their parents a lot. And Eugene used to always take the parents aside and talk to them about their goals and their vision for their son or daughter's future in magic. So I think it's the family environment really nurtures the creativity of the young artist.
Absolutely. Speaking of young artists, a young lady who's very, very dear to me, and kind of almost an adopted daughter. You first met when she was around 13 or 14, and she has publicized this, so I'm not saying anything personal about her. She was literally dying from cancer until this day. Says her last wish was she wanted to come to the mystery school, and she did, and she was adored by you and dear Eugene. And she said, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I have to work today," and she works as a doctor as well. But please, please give my love to Jeff and Abby, and of course, you know very well I'm referring to
Christina Hosted, yes.
Indeed, from Norway, absolutely. And there are a ton of people like that who, shall we say, have come through the school. One of them recently gained a lot of fame a couple of years ago, and that was Matt Franco.
Matt Franco started here when he was 12 years old, and I've been working with him ever since. And we still get together every few weeks online to work on our magic. And he's a shining example of what a young person with passion and commitment can do with a deck of cards, because he's basically a sleight of hand magician.
That's right. We've had students from all over the world come through this school. Aaron
Mhm.
Crow from Belgium, Romani from England. There have been magicians from all over the world who have been here to the Magic and Mystery School. And I tell you, one of the hidden blessings of this time is that we are now able to work with students all over the world in our online classes so easily. We are more accessible than we have ever been. And students no longer have to pay for a plane ticket and a hotel for the privilege of studying here at the Magic and Mystery School. They can do it online from the comfort of their own homes. So we like to look for the hidden blessings in challenging times, and that is definitely one of them.
That's right. And what we've been doing is taking our magic, let me roll up my sleeve, and adapting it to modern times and making the adjustments to be able yes, here we are. Now, I'll have you know that I was into masks before they were trendy.
No way, really? Oh goodness, yeah. Were you really? He's wearing his Society of American Magicians mask, and yes, if you're not a member, you should join. Get in touch with me. I'll help. I'll help you with that. Not a problem. You don't have to be an American. Oh, look, they're both doing it. So cute. Ah, I'm sorry. It cracked me up. What can I say? Very unprofessional, but it cracked me up. Go ahead, Jeff.
We'd like to thank Joel Zaritsky for sending us these masks, and they're. Don't you think they're great?
I think they're terrific.
All right. So we'd like to thank you. Yes, you got to rock the mask.
Yeah, well,
Years ago, it was the bad guys that wore masks. Now good guys wear masks. And
exactly.
good gals.
Oh,
And
Joel,
everybody.
yeah, Joel was one of your students, I think, once or twice. Joel, I'm referring to, by the way, for those of you who don't know him or met him, he is the current president of the Society of American Magicians, and formally we address him as most illustrious. That's how it's been done for years, since the time of Houdini. You threw me right off track. So unprofessional of me. You cracked me up.
One thing I can say is that
Yeah.
Joel is going to be joining us online for one of our upcoming classes in January. And your viewers may be interested to know that we actually have a number of classes that are going to be starting in January. There's one that's a focus on family entertainment. There's one that's called The Science of Magic, and one that's called Winter Training. And I'm also starting a class that I'll be teaching. It's going to be called Sundays Cool, and it will be an in-depth text study of the show doctor. Every great tradition has its own version of text study classes. So I
Right.
thought it was time to do one here at the Magic and Mystery School. All 4 of those classes will be starting in January. And if people are interested, they can go to magicalwisdom.com to sign up and learn more.
Okay, Joe, we'll put this up in the chat very, very shortly. And I was actually going to bring that up. And that was the reason I said you're a Renaissance lady. You've done a ton of work, I know, on all the mystery schools over the years, yes. But on January 3rd, you're actually going to be, for want of a better word, hosting the January 3rd one. And I urge people not to miss it. I don't know about her husband, if he's any good or not, but definitely go watch her on January the 3rd for sure. I'm going to be there. So set your clocks or whatever you're going to do. Just go do that. Let me bring you to a fun story, which I'm not going to tell, but we'll do that in the meet and greet. I know you guys can't stay and you have to dash off because you've got students and other things to do, is to talk about 3 things. One, and you have said very kind words about this to me, Jeff, including things like, your magical tribe awaits your return. Please come back. And I did. Is a little bit, shall we say, more of the esoteric nature. We don't want to take the whole show talking about it, but I think it's an important aspect, not just about the Kabbalah, but about many, many things. And the need, as your dad always said, for discipline, especially within magic, the shaman, the medicine man, the sorcerer. And who better than for you both to say a few words on that topic?
Well, Abigail has many diverse interests and disciplines, and she is an extraordinary keyboard player. She's a percussionist. She plays the harp. She's a vegetarian cook. She's a massage therapist. She writes songs. She performs magic. I say she has so many skills. I call her my Swiss Army wife.
And I call him my walking encyclopedia of magic, because this house really is one giant magic cabinet. Anytime he's working with the student will ask some question. Oh, that trick where the coin goes through the table and there's a tanky on top? And Jeff will say, yes, that's in Rice's Encyclopedia of Silk, Volume 3. It's a blue book, Abigail, on the left side in the library, third stack down. Could you go grab it for me? Every book that's in the library, he's read. He can access the information on. Any trick a student calls for, he's got it in the cabinet of curiosities behind him.
Mhm.
So he literally is, if I'm the Swiss Army wife, he's the walking encyclopedia of magic.
And magic has, incredible roots back in time throughout mythology, throughout folklore. And one of the things that we see emerging in the past 20 years of anthropological studies is the close association of the magician and the healer, the physician and the magician. The tribal storyteller, the shaman of yesterday is the showman of today. And Dr. Ricardo Rosencrantz, who is one of our faculty, and you'll see him every week on our show, he teaches for many years at our Magic and Medicine seminar here, where we gather people in different healing professions, a lot of cardiologists, oncologists, therapists, occupational therapists come to this event to study the connection between magic and healing. And one of the interesting philosophies that comes from a Native American tradition is that anything that's healing is called medicine. So they have medicine dances. They have medicine stories that make you feel better. They have medicine foods, medicine sand paintings. They call this healing medicine, and magic is medicine. And as I always signed off on my show doctor columns, magic is good medicine, because when people experience magic, there's a temporary healing. All of a sudden, all of those pains and cares can disappear for an instant and alleviate suffering. And the Tibetans have an expression that anything that alleviates suffering is magic. So I like to say that people that were growing up, maybe their parents were pressuring them to get into medicine more than magic, that maybe they became more of a doctor than they ever thought their parents would know. And that life path is Joel Zaritsky is an exemplar of a physician magician that uses magic in his healing and healing in his magic. And that's, one of the great joys of working with doctors and working with Dr. Ricardo Rosencrantz and people like Joel Zaritsky, is to see that the magician and the magician share common roots, and bringing that awareness into modern times. And just in these dark times, just calling up a friend or an elder or someone that's locked in and performing a little Zoom magic can be could be the simplest thing in the world. Could be the simplest thing in the world. But to that person that's never seen a moment of magic, it can inspire, awaken, and heal them in a way that other things on Zoom can't. It gives a gift of wonder. And since we're in this season of gift giving, think about just giving a gift call and a little bit of magic to somebody that you haven't seen in a while.
Mm-hmm. I think that magic really helps us to connect to each other on a deep relational level. And this is something that is usually connected to women's wisdom, the idea of building relationships, of building family. But magic really is one giant family. And women have been involved in magic since the very beginning. We go all the way back to the roots of the Oracle of Delphi and mind reading magic that was happening there.
Yes. Absolutely.
And magic and healing is also connected through women's work, that it's the women who were the herbalists and the midwives and the healers in ancient times. So this connection between magic and healing and medicine runs very deep, not just for men, but for women also. And one of the things that I really appreciate about the classes here at the Magic and Mystery School, there is a large percentage of women who are showing up, who are feeling safe, who are feeling welcomed. And I'm really excited to see more and more women getting into magic.
Absolutely, because you mentioned earlier on about your walking encyclopedia And one of the thrills of my life, I mean, really, I have no other way of describing it. It's a thrill of my life. When after the talk I gave on Rustlin Chapel, Jeff come up and we chatted, etc., and then and I think it was Lupe Nelson was making Cuba Libres at the Chateau La Magique, if you
She
recall.
said she was going to make me a Cuba Libre. I thought she was going to go in her wood shop and make that block. She goes, Jeff, I'm going to make you a Cuba Libre.
I know that
you
was
are so great.
I,
And then
I,
she comes back with a cocktail, and I'm like,
gosh,
is it going to take, okay, is it going to take longer than just getting in the car?
Well, you know, she's one of the great ladies of magic in more ways than
She comes to
one
a
of
lot
them.
of our classes. She's
Indeed. Yeah, so it was great to have all that crowd show up for my talk. But you very kindly said, and I'm not saying this as a story to share with everybody. Well, I am, but there's a relevance. You said, I'm going to Moscow tomorrow, but you and Christian should come over to lunch. And I'm like, when? You're going to Moscow tomorrow? What do you mean? I said, you sure? He said, no, you need to come over. And we did. And you called up this, you said, what kind of food do you want? And I said, I want authentic Chinese food. And you went, not a problem. And you, like you said, encyclopedic, you called up somebody and they went to, and I always remember you saying, yes, it is the magician. They recognized your voice. And then we ordered stuff. And afterwards you said, you might want to get out of that chair and come to the table. And I said, why? Is it a special chair? And you said, yeah, that's Eugene's chair. Whoa, you know, I had no idea. And not this one, because it was gifted to me, but I found that in Eugene's chair. I left it behind. This was gifted to me by the maker, Victoria Sky, as you know. And I went, oh, look, whatever. So we had a wonderful lunch, and then you went packed up.
That's our seat of honor. You get to sit in the Eugene chair.
I know. Wow. You know, it's amazing. Let's come back to the mystery school. And we have him here. Let's ask him. Joel, what was it like being a student?
Well, I owe everything to the Magic and Mystery School. Without question, I would not be, president of the SAM. As Jeff and Abby were saying, magic and medicine share DNA. And as such, you have to have continuing education in both. To be a better magician, you have to have continuing education. And that's why I wear this pin proudly, the Magic and Mystery School pin. And, you have to continually update yourself. You've got to continually learn. And that's what life is all about. Change is good. Thank you.
I think you've raised a very important thing, and who better than Jeff and Abigail to comment on it. Some people call it a craft, some call it an art. I don't really want to start a debate on this here. I have my own views. However, you both are more than qualified to say words about the tradition of the neophyte, the novice, the young person going to the shaman, the sorcerer, or to the medicine man, or to the abbot in a monastery, or the grandma who, knows how to mix herbs. Speak with us, please, about that aspect of the philosophy, that aspect of magic that Joel had kind of brought up.
Well, one thing that I want to say is that we always treat new friends as homecomers. When someone comes to the mystery school for the first time, they'll often hear us say, welcome home, because it really does feel like coming home to a safe place where you can ask questions without being ridiculed. And we know that even if people are new to the Magic and Mystery School, they may not be a neophyte out in the world. So we treat everyone with the utmost respect, and we make sure that everyone feels safe and comfortable to ask whatever questions they may have, and to really be able to express themselves and learn whatever it is that they may need to learn to get to the best of their highest potential.
Eugene used to say,
Sorry,
that
forgive me, Jeff. Forgive me, Jeff. I just want to say two things because Abby's mentioned it. I don't mean to be rude and interrupt you, but I've heard people describe the mystery school experience as a sanctuary and therapeutic in all its forms. Now that anyone, without getting on a plane, can join in. I mean, how wonderful is that? Jeff, please continue from that.
Well, Eugene used to say we're all eternal students. Eugene was he never said that he was the master. That's a title that people gave to him. He said he was an eternal student. And he always said to his students that the real secrets of magic are not in the books. They're not on the DVDs, and they're not on YouTube. The real secrets of magic are handed down from teacher to student in whispers.
Yes.
So
Yes.
on that, we'd like to say in a whisper, mum's the word. This is Jeff and Abby saying goodbye from the Magic and Mystery School. We have another class starting.
I understand.
We'd like to invite all of you from anywhere around the world to join us anytime. We're only a click and a Zoom link away. Thank you, Anthony Darkstone, and thank you, Joel and Tim Wise and Carl and everybody else. And I see many of our students from all over the world out there. Willie Yee, even he's out in outer space. He's out. And everybody else, James Ember, and all of our good friends. We'll see you on Monday night, because remember, Monday is a school night. See you.